Life will throw storms at you, and many times it will seem like the waves are too high and the winds too fierce. We've all faced those moments where everything feels out of control, where we're caught in the middle of an overwhelming situation that seems to be closing in on us from all sides. It could be a financial crisis, a health scare, or even a sudden disruption in your relationships. Whatever the storm may be, one thing is certain: chaos is inevitable. We cannot avoid the storms of life. They will come and they will test us, but here's where the power lies. Although chaos is inevitable, panic is a choice. Yes, panic is a choice. We don't always have control over the situations that arise, but we always have control over our responses to them. The question is, how will you respond when the storm hits? Will you allow the chaos to dictate your emotions, your actions, and your mindset? Or will you stand firm, steady in your resolve, and calm in your approach? The truth is that panic will never get you through a storm. Panic will cloud your judgment, it will distort your perception, and it will drain you of the very energy you need to survive the storm. Panic will not make the waves smaller. It won't calm the wind. It will not give you clarity or direction. Instead, it will leave you scrambling, grasping for solutions that don't exist in the middle of chaos. In fact, panic can often make things worse because it prevents you from thinking clearly and making decisions that are grounded in wisdom and peace. But if you can train your mind to remain calm in every situation, you give yourself the power to navigate through anything. It's not about denying the reality of the storm, but about refusing to let the storm dictate your response. The moment you lose your calm, you lose control. The moment you give in to fear, you surrender your power. The key to remaining calm in chaos is not avoiding the storm, but preparing for it. Life will bring challenges. There's no getting around that. But the difference between those who thrive and those who merely survive is their ability to stay grounded, to keep their peace, and to think clearly in the face of adversity. This requires training. You cannot expect to remain calm in the middle of a crisis if you have not trained your mind beforehand to handle stressful situations with composure. The preparation begins with how you approach everyday life. Do you react to minor annoyances with stress and frustration, or do you train yourself to breathe deeply, to let go of unnecessary worry, and to maintain a sense of peace in the midst of inconvenience? Do you find yourself easily overwhelmed when things don't go according to plan? Or do you have a practice of slowing down, stepping back, and regaining perspective before you respond? It's in the small moments that we learn how to handle the big ones. Training your mind to stay calm starts with the daily discipline of creating stillness within yourself. It's in the moments when things are going smoothly that you must practice the art of calmness. It's in those small, seemingly insignificant moments that you develop the mental muscle needed to withstand the storms of life. If you only try to practice calmness when things are already chaotic, it will be too late. You must prepare yourself in advance so that when the storm comes, you are ready. This training requires a commitment to self-awareness. It means recognizing when you're starting to feel your nerves fray, when your mind is beginning to race with worry. It's about catching yourself before you spiral into panic. You must learn to identify the early signs of stress: tightness in your chest, racing thoughts, shortness of breath, and immediately take steps to bring yourself back into balance. That might mean taking a few deep breaths, practicing gratitude, or simply stepping away for a moment to reset your mind. And let's not overlook the power of faith in this process. Faith doesn't mean that you won't face difficulties. It doesn't mean that you won't experience hardship. But faith means that you trust that you will make it through. Faith means you believe that there's a purpose behind the pain, that the storm is not your end, but a chapter in your story. Faith gives you the assurance that the God who calms the storm is the same God who resides within you, empowering you to remain steady when everything else is shaking. Faith enables you to stand strong, knowing that you are not alone in the midst of the chaos. When you train your mind to be calm, you are not only preparing to survive the storms, you are preparing to navigate them with wisdom and grace. You are positioning yourself to lead, to inspire, and to become an example of strength to others. People are watching you, and your calm in the midst of a storm might be the very thing they need to see in order to believe that they too can weather their own challenges. Remember, calmness is not the absence of conflict, but the presence of clarity. It is not the lack of difficulty, but the ability to handle it without losing your peace. Train your mind now in the calm moments, so that when the storm hits, you will remain unshaken, unbroken, and prepared to rise above whatever life throws your way. Emotions are powerful. They have the ability to elevate us to heights of joy, peace, and fulfillment. But they can also pull us into depths of despair, frustration, and anger. We've all experienced it. Those moments when an emotion overwhelms us, when we feel as if we are slaves to how we're feeling in that particular moment. Whether it's fear gripping us in the face of uncertainty, or anger rising up when we feel wronged, emotions have the capacity to hijack our minds and our actions. But here's the crucial truth. Emotions are indicators, not dictators. They are signals from within, telling us something about what's going on in our minds, bodies, and environments. Emotions themselves are not inherently bad, nor should we try to eliminate them. They exist for a reason, and they serve a purpose. The problem arises when we allow our emotions to dictate how we act, think, and move forward in life. When we let our emotions control us, we become reactive instead of proactive. We become slaves to the very things that should be serving as tools to help us understand our inner state. The key to mastering emotions is understanding that while you can't always control how you feel in a given moment, you can control what you do with those feelings. When emotions arise, it's easy to feel like you have to react immediately. If you're angry, it's tempting to snap back and say things you might later regret. If you're fearful, it's easy to shrink back and avoid taking any risks. But if you always act based on how you feel, you'll quickly find that you are led by your emotions rather than being in control of them. Mastering your emotions begins with awareness. It starts with recognizing the emotion that's present and acknowledging it without judgment. You might feel anger, but rather than allowing that anger to explode or fester, pause and ask yourself, why do I feel angry right now? What's causing this reaction? This is the first step in taking control of the emotion instead of allowing it to control you. By asking these questions, you are shifting from a reactive state to a reflective one. You're moving from simply reacting to a feeling to gaining insight into why that feeling is surfacing in the first place. The next step is to acknowledge that emotions are temporary. They come and they go. One of the biggest mistakes people make is assuming that their emotions are permanent, that what they feel right now is how they'll feel forever. But that's simply not true. Emotions are fluid. Just as joy can come unexpectedly, so can sadness, frustration, or fear. By recognizing that emotions are temporary, you create the mental space to allow them to pass without being consumed by them. You don't have to let the intensity of the emotion define you. You can feel the anger, sadness, or fear, but you don't have to act out of them. You can let them flow through you, knowing that they will eventually subside. Another critical piece of mastering your emotions is taking a moment to breathe before you respond. When emotions run high, our bodies often react first. Our hearts race, our thoughts cloud, and we begin to act out of impulse. This is where taking a deep breath can make all the difference. Breathing deeply helps to reset your mind, to ground you in the present moment, and to break the automatic response pattern that emotions can trigger. It's like hitting the pause button on your emotional reaction, giving you time to gain clarity and act with intention rather than being swept up in a storm of feelings. Moreover, it's important to understand that controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing them. Too often, we are taught to bottle up our emotions, to not express our feelings or to ignore them. But this doesn't help us master them. It only creates internal tension that can eventually spill over in unhealthy ways. Mastering emotions means expressing them in healthy, constructive ways. It means acknowledging your feelings, but not letting them control your actions or thoughts. It's about finding appropriate outlets for emotional release, whether it's through talking with a trusted friend, engaging in physical activity, journaling, or simply taking time for yourself to process your emotions. One of the most powerful tools in emotional mastery is choosing your response. When life throws curveballs at us, we often don't have control over what happens, but we always have control over how we respond. You cannot always change the circumstances, but you can change the way you react to them. If someone insults you, you don't have to react with anger. If you face a setback, you don't have to respond with despair. You can choose to respond with grace, with patience, and with wisdom. Your response is within your power, and the more you practice choosing calmness and thoughtfulness in your responses, the more your emotional reactions will become a matter of habit rather than impulse. Lastly, let's talk about the power of perspective. Emotions often arise when we attach meaning to a situation or experience. If you interpret a setback as a failure, your emotions will likely be negative. But if you can reframe that setback as an opportunity for growth, your emotions will shift in response. Perspective is everything. The way you choose to view a situation shapes how you feel about it. This is why developing a mindset of gratitude and optimism is so important in emotional mastery. Gratitude allows you to see the positive in any situation, even in the face of adversity. Optimism helps you look forward to the future, even when things seem bleak. Both of these perspectives will shape your emotional experience and keep you in control of how you feel. Mastering your emotions is not about never feeling anything. It's about understanding that you are not your emotions. You are not the anger you feel, the fear that tries to rise up, or the frustration that may bubble over. You are the person who gets to choose how to respond to those feelings. You are the one who gets to decide whether you'll be a victim to your emotions or whether you'll take control and use those emotions to propel you forward. Your emotions are a part of you, but they do not define you. You define how your emotions will shape your actions and ultimately your life. In a world that constantly demands more from us, more hustle, more productivity, more noise, there is something radical and powerful about stillness. It's easy to assume that stillness is a sign of weakness. We've been conditioned to believe that in order to succeed, we must always be moving, always be talking, always be doing. Yet, the truth is that the most powerful individuals, the most effective leaders, and the most resilient people often operate from a place of stillness, not chaos. Stillness is not the absence of action, it is the presence of clarity. It is not the absence of struggle, but the ability to face struggle with a calm and focused mind. In a time when the world is filled with distractions, noise, and constant demands on our attention, stillness becomes a strategic tool. It is a weapon in a world that often wants to overwhelm us. It is not a sign of retreat or passivity, but a powerful choice to stand firm and grounded amidst the noise. Stillness is a weapon because it allows you to think clearly. When you are constantly on the move, reacting to the whirlwind of life around you, it's easy to lose sight of your true purpose and direction. The chaos of the world can make you feel as though you are just another leaf floating in the wind, tossed in every direction with no sense of control. But stillness helps you regain control. When you choose to still your mind and your emotions, you allow space for clarity and wisdom to enter. It's in the quiet moments, in the stillness of your thoughts, that you can hear your inner voice guiding you toward what's truly important. Stillness enables you to assess situations with calmness and precision. In the heat of a crisis or the middle of a challenge, panic can cloud your judgment, causing you to make rash decisions that you'll later regret. But when you take a moment to pause, to breathe, and to center yourself, You give yourself the opportunity to assess the situation without being controlled by fear or anxiety. You can look at the problem more objectively without being swept away by emotions. In stillness, you gain perspective. You can see the bigger picture, and with that perspective, you are able to make decisions that are grounded in wisdom rather than impulsivity. Stillness also enhances your ability to respond instead of react. Reacting is what happens when we are caught off guard, when we are overwhelmed by emotions or by the sheer pace of life. A reaction is often automatic, driven by impulse or habit, and rarely thoughtful. A response, on the other hand, is deliberate and intentional. Stillness gives you the space to choose your response. It allows you to pause before you speak, to pause before you act, to pause before you make decisions that could affect your future. It's in these moments of pause, of stillness, that you are able to make more strategic, mindful decisions. You respond to life rather than simply reacting to it. In leadership, stillness is a critical strength. A leader who is constantly running from one thing to the next, who is always reacting to the demands around them, will quickly burn out and lose their ability to lead effectively. However, a leader who can remain calm and still, even in the midst of a storm, instills confidence in others. Stillness is the foundation of trust and assurance. When people look to you as a leader, they don't just want someone who can take action. They want someone who can stay calm under pressure, who can think critically and strategically, who can remain steady even when the world around them is in turmoil. Stillness, then, is not a weakness. It's the strength to stay grounded in the midst of chaos. Stillness also allows you to recharge and renew. In a society that values productivity above all else, it's easy to feel guilty for taking time to rest, to pause, or to be still. But the truth is that without stillness, there is no strength. Without quiet time, there is no mental clarity. Without moments of renewal, we deplete ourselves and we run the risk of burnout. Stillness gives us the opportunity to refill our cup, to regain our energy, and to restore our sense of purpose. It's in stillness that we reconnect with our values, our vision, and our sense of direction. Moreover, stillness cultivates patience and self-discipline. It's easy to be impatient when you're constantly chasing the next thing. It's easy to want instant results, to demand immediate gratification. But stillness teaches you that not everything happens on your timeline, and that's okay. It teaches you the value of waiting, of being patient with the process, and of trusting that everything will unfold at the right time. Stillness helps you develop the discipline to stay the course, even when you can't see the immediate rewards of your efforts. It trains you to trust the journey, not just the destination. In the face of adversity, stillness is a shield. When people are talking behind your back, when challenges seem insurmountable, when the weight of the world is on your shoulders, it's easy to want to fight back, to respond in anger, or to defend yourself. But stillness is a better defense. When you remain still, you are not caught up in the petty distractions or in the emotional reactions of others. You are able to rise above the noise and keep your focus on what truly matters. Stillness allows you to stand firm in your convictions, to stay rooted in your truth, and to protect your peace. In the end, stillness is a weapon because it provides the space for growth, clarity, and power. In a world that values speed and action, stillness is the quiet strength that enables you to move with intention, purpose, and resilience. It is not a weakness, but a profound strength that sets you apart and allows you to operate from a place of peace and clarity in a world that often feels chaotic. When you embrace stillness, you harness a power that will carry you through life's storms and allow you to thrive, not just survive. Too often, we wait until a crisis is upon us to figure out how to handle it. We wait until the pressure is at its peak, until everything feels out of control, and only then do we try to find ways to cope, to stay calm, or to make decisions. But what if the key to handling the storms of life isn't just about reacting well in the moment of crisis. What if the real strength comes from preparing yourself before the storm ever hits? The truth is, what you do in your calm moments in the times of peace shapes how you will respond when everything around you begins to unravel. Training in peace is essential for surviving the battles that life throws at you. Just as an athlete doesn't wait until game day to start practicing, you cannot wait until the crisis arrives to build the mental and emotional strength you'll need to weather it. In the calm moments, when life feels stable and predictable, you have the opportunity to cultivate the habits, mindset, and practices that will carry you through life's most challenging moments. One of the most important things you can do is build the habit of mental discipline. The mind is like any other muscle. It grows stronger with consistent practice. If you wait until stress, doubt, or uncertainty hit to try to calm your thoughts, you'll find yourself overwhelmed and unprepared. But if you practice mental clarity, mindfulness, and focus in your day-to-day life, you'll have the ability to center yourself even when chaos surrounds you. This means taking time each day to train your mind. Whether it's through meditation, prayer, journaling, or simply sitting in silence, you need to cultivate the practice of stillness. It's in these moments of quiet that you develop the emotional and mental resilience necessary to face life's inevitable challenges. Training in peace also involves nurturing your emotional well-being. Just as we don't wait until the body is sick to take care of it, we shouldn't wait until our emotions are frazzled and out of balance to attend to them. Practicing emotional regulation during peaceful times helps you remain composed when emotions begin to rise in moments of crisis. This involves becoming more self-aware and learning to recognize the early signs of stress, anxiety, or overwhelm. When you catch these signals early, you can take action to center yourself before they spiral out of control. Regularly taking time for self-care, for reflection, and for gratitude can all help you maintain emotional balance when the pressures of life mount. Another key aspect of training in peace is developing your sense of perspective. Life's challenges will always be part of the journey, but how you interpret those challenges will determine how you respond to them. If you spend your peaceful moments focusing on growth, on building resilience, and on understanding the deeper lessons of life, you will approach crises not with fear or panic, but with clarity and wisdom. The storms of life don't change the person who is grounded in purpose and vision. Instead, those storms reveal who you've become during your peaceful times. If you've been intentional about building a mindset of optimism and faith, you'll be able to see opportunities even in the midst of difficulty. You won't be blinded by despair, because you've already trained your mind to look for solutions and possibilities. Training in peace also helps you build a strong foundation of patience. In our fast-paced world, it's easy to become accustomed to instant gratification and immediate results. But life rarely works on our timeline. The storm doesn't arrive when we expect it, and the resolution to our problems doesn't always happen quickly. In peaceful times, you can practice patience and learn to wait for the right moment to act. You can remind yourself that not everything needs to be fixed immediately. When you've trained yourself to be patient during times of peace, you develop the endurance and perseverance necessary to stand firm during periods of adversity. Patience is not about passivity, it's about trust. It's about trusting that, no matter how long the wait, things will unfold as they should. Further, training in peace means strengthening your ability to make wise, thoughtful decisions. In times of calm, you can take the time to reflect on your goals, your values, and your long-term vision. When you cultivate a practice of clarity and reflection, you are better able to make decisions that align with your true purpose when the pressure is on. Decision-making in times of crisis is rarely clear-cut. The fog of stress, fear, and anxiety can cloud judgment, leading to hasty or unwise choices. But when you've spent the peaceful moments developing your decision-making skills, you create a mental framework that will guide you during times of uncertainty. This might involve reflecting on past experiences, considering the potential consequences of your actions and seeking counsel from others when needed. Training in peace also has a profound effect on your physical well-being. Stress has a direct impact on the body, and in times of crisis, it's easy for the physical toll to become overwhelming. By adopting practices of peace during the calm moments, such as exercise, nutrition, sleep, and relaxation techniques, you prepare your body to endure the demands of life. When you regularly take care of your physical health, you build the stamina and resilience to manage stress more effectively. Your body becomes an ally, not an obstacle, in times of challenge. Finally, the training that you do in times of peace shapes your spiritual strength. A connection to something greater than yourself can provide a wellspring of strength and courage when the storms come. In peaceful moments, you can deepen your relationship with your faith, with your values, and with your spiritual practices. It's in these moments that you anchor yourself to a higher purpose, knowing that no matter what happens, you are not alone. When life's challenges arise, this spiritual foundation will serve as a source of comfort and guidance. Training in peace, then, is not just about surviving the storm. It's about ensuring that when the storm hits, you're not just reactive or caught off guard. Instead, you will be ready, grounded, and capable of moving through it with strength, clarity, and resilience. The preparation you make during times of peace ensures that when war comes, when the trials of life begin to threaten your sense of stability, you will remain steady. Your training will carry you, and you'll emerge stronger, not because you avoided the storm, but because you faced it prepared. Consistency is the foundation of any lasting change. It's easy to become motivated when things are going well, when life is smooth, and when the energy to make a change feels abundant. But when the initial excitement fades, when life gets busy, when the challenges of everyday existence begin to crowd in, it's consistency that will carry you through. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who don't often lies in their ability to stay consistent, especially when things become difficult. Consistency is not just about showing up every day, it's about making a commitment to the process. It's about understanding that success doesn't happen overnight, and that every small step you take toward your goal adds up over time. Whether it's building a new habit, improving your health, mastering a skill, or pursuing a larger vision, consistency is the key to progress. Every time you take a step, no matter how small, you are moving in the right direction. Success is built on the accumulation of these small, consistent actions. The power of consistency lies in its compounding effect. Just as small investments grow over time, so do the small actions you take toward your goal. Think about learning a new instrument or a new language. In the beginning, progress feels slow, and the results seem almost invisible. But over time, with consistent practice, you start to notice the growth. You start to hear the music flow from your instrument or understand phrases in a new language. It's the same with any area of life. Whether you're building a business, strengthening relationships, or cultivating peace of mind, the compound effect of consistent effort is what leads to long-term transformation. What begins as a small effort turns into something much bigger than you could have imagined. Consistency also breeds discipline. In the beginning, motivation can carry you through, but it's discipline that ensures you continue when motivation wanes. There will be days when you don't feel like working, when you don't feel like showing up, and when the road ahead feels long and uncertain. But discipline is the muscle that keeps you moving forward. It's what keeps you on track when you want to quit. It's not about being perfect or always feeling excited. It's about continuing to take action even when you don't feel like it. The more you practice consistency, the stronger your discipline becomes and the more ingrained your habits become. This discipline is what creates the momentum you need to keep going, even when external circumstances make things difficult. Another critical aspect of consistency is the fact that it helps to build your identity. The more consistently you show up, the more you align with the person you are becoming. When you commit to something consistently, you begin to see yourself as someone who is dedicated, someone who follows through. Your actions over time begin to shape your identity. If you want to become a healthier person, consistency in exercise, nutrition, and mind that will shape you into someone who sees health as a core part of your identity. If you want to become a person who exudes calm in any situation, consistent practice of mindfulness, meditation, and emotional regulation will make calmness an integral part of who you are. Consistency is not just about reaching your goals. It's about transforming into the person who can achieve those goals. Consistency also provides structure. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, having a consistent routine brings order and stability to your life. Structure doesn't mean rigidity. It means creating a framework that allows you to focus on what's important and to work toward your goals in a purposeful way. It's about setting boundaries and prioritizing your time, so that you can consistently move forward without feeling overwhelmed. Structure gives you the clarity to know what to do next and prevents you from getting lost in distractions. It creates a rhythm that allows you to be productive and intentional without feeling burnt out or scattered. Perhaps one of the most powerful effects of consistency is its ability to create trust, both in yourself and with others. When you are consistent, you prove to yourself that you can rely on your own abilities to follow through. This self-trust is essential when facing challenges or setbacks. If you've been consistent in your efforts, you know that even if you fail along the way, you have the resilience and perseverance to get back up and try again. This trust in your own ability to stay the course builds your confidence and makes you less susceptible to self-doubt. Consistency also fosters accountability. When you commit to something consistently, you are holding yourself accountable to your own goals, dreams, and values. It's easy to make excuses or to let distractions get in the way, but consistency requires you to show up, day in and day out, regardless of the circumstances. This accountability is empowering because it reminds you that your success or failure is ultimately in your hands. It teaches you the value of responsibility and helps you become someone who can be relied upon, both by yourself and by others. Furthermore, consistency allows for growth and improvement. It's in the daily practice, the continued effort, and the willingness to keep going that you learn, evolve, and get better at what you do. It's easy to expect immediate results, but consistency teaches you patience. It teaches you to trust the process and to understand that growth often happens gradually. It's not about rushing or pushing for instant results. It's about showing up, putting in the work, and letting time do its work. Every time you practice, you learn something new about yourself, about the process, and about what works. This continuous learning, fueled by consistent action, is what leads to mastery and true transformation. Consistency is also powerful because it builds resilience. Life will throw challenges your way, expected setbacks, moments of failure, or unforeseen circumstances. But when you have developed the muscle of consistency, you learn how to keep moving forward in the face of adversity. You learn how to keep going even when things are hard, and how to use failure as a stepping stone for growth. When you consistently show up, you build a mental toughness that allows you to endure the storms of life with strength and grace. In the end, consistency is the quiet force that drives success. It's not always flashy, it's not always exciting, but it is the steady, reliable force that propels you toward your goals. It is in the small, consistent actions that you build the momentum that will eventually lead to big results. And though the road may feel long, when you commit to consistency, you know that you are always moving forward, step by step, towards the person you are meant to be and the life you are meant to create. In conclusion, the journey to mastering your mind and staying calm in every situation is not one that happens overnight. It is a process of intentional effort, consistent practice, and deep-rooted discipline. The world around us is full of challenges, uncertainties, and storms, but it is in those moments that your mental preparation and emotional resilience will be put to the test. By training your mind to be calm in every situation, you equip yourself with the ability to face whatever life throws your way. You learn that stillness is not weakness, but a powerful tool that gives you the clarity, patience, and strength needed to navigate the ups and downs of life. You realize that true peace is not about avoiding conflict or discomfort, but about remaining grounded, focused, and composed no matter the circumstances. Training in peace is not a luxury, it is a necessity. The habits, routines, and mindset you build during the calm moments will determine how you respond when war comes. You must train yourself, just as an athlete trains for a race or a soldier prepares for battle. Consistency in this practice creates the resilience and mental fortitude that will allow you to stay on course, no matter how overwhelming the challenges may be. Above all, remember that you are capable. You are strong. The power to be calm, to remain steady, and to respond with wisdom lies within you. It is a strength that you cultivate every day through your actions, choices, and mindset. By consistently practicing peace, building discipline, and cultivating clarity, you will become a person who not only survives the storms of life, but thrives in the face of them. So, train your mind, embrace the process, and trust that every step you take toward peace will empower you to become the calm, powerful individual you were always meant to be.